And we are live from Radio Row here in Las Vegas, the DNVR Broncos podcast. But our friend Ryan Koenigsberg tried his hardest to make sure that we were not here today. Yeah. A cop his voice was in our car last night on the highway.
Yeah, it didn't make much sense. I don't know if they can hack the radio system or what, but all of a sudden it's just a big beep. And then the guy says, "Turn on your lights." And Ryan, of course, just panicked. Yeah. He was panicked the entire time. And then he was just hitting every button there was over there.
But the right one.
Exactly. So it's you had the left blinker, the right blinker, the windshield wiper. And he's like, "Not your blinkers, your lights. Not your wipers, your lights."
Yeah, this rental car must just have buttons. The lights button must be on a different spot, and we must have been driving without our lights on for a long time around Las Vegas. And this is 11:45 p.m. last night, because we went to opening night, which is the classic big media night that they have at the stadium, which every Super Bowl has. Todd, you participated in that before the 2015 Super Bowl win, and we're coming home. It was a really late night, but we weren't out partying or anything, and we're driving home. And, like Henry said, there's just a cop's voice in our car as we're going 65 miles on the highway, and just couldn't figure it out. And this cop was talking to us for 3 minutes, and you could just, every time he would talk, you could just feel Ryan being "Oh my God, we're so fucked right
He was
now."
sweating. He was sweating.
Luckily, I was dropped off right before this happened.
Yes,
you really missed out.
When you guys dropped me off, I called 911 there's a car driving on the highway with no lights. So that's why you guys got pulled over.
And you know what Ryan's going to do about that? Absolutely nothing. No.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got an awesome show lined up for you. We've got a guest ready to join us right now. So we're going to bring on Andrew Sendejo, who almost
was a teammate.
One of your former teammates.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a small world. This football community, it's a small world. We played a long career, long stint with the Vikings, and you left in 19. I got there in 20, and I feel like we barely missed each other for sure.
Yeah. What's up, fellas?
How's it going?
That's good,
Thanks
man.
for joining us.
Yeah. How's your week been? I guess just getting started, huh?
Just getting started, rocking and rolling. How about you?
It's good, man. Same thing.
Right on. And you're here with a company you actually started?
Yes, with Braintree Nutrition, brain health supplement company. Launched right at the end of my career just to enhance, preserve cognitive function and brain health and mental health. So I've been working on that since being done out here. Catching up with some people, doing some stuff like this, running into new people. So it's been fun.
I feel like that's the first thing to go, as a football player. You ever have that feeling where you walk upstairs and you forget why you even walked upstairs? After you're done playing, that happens to you 20 times more. Your brain, I feel like it just doesn't function the same.
Yeah, and I had a crazy career-ending, very gruesome concussion in my 12th year. And so that was also part of the segue into this. And, from taking our products, I've been able to kind of restore a lot of that back to where I'm feeling a little bit sharper, feeling better than when I was finished playing in 2022. So just continuing to, try to roll out new products, new formulas. There's always new stuff coming out. So trying to stay on top of the science. Luckily, I don't have to do all that. We have a medical team that does all that. So our neurologist on staff kind of looks through all the ingredients and validates all the studies and stuff like that.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, you had a great career. 12 years is a long career.
Yeah.
I was looking over your history, and we had a lot of carryover. I didn't know that Joe Woods was your secondary coach.
Oh, yeah. I had Joe Woods twice. I had him in Minnesota early on, and then I had him in Cleveland.
At the end of your career, right?
Yeah. So I got to reconnect with him. So yeah, I had some good Joe Woods stories for sure.
You got any you want to share?
No, he's just so chill, man. He's he was kind of my first. He was our DB's coach when I got there, 11, 12,
Yep.
13.
And then he came to the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so a lot of that, a lot of what I learned early on was from Joe. Carried over a lot all throughout my career. So it was cool to be able to reconnect. And actually, a lot of my teammates that I played with early on, I was like, is that my phone ringing?
That's I didn't even see it. I was like,
it sounded like it's coming through the headphones. I guess it was technically.
It's like the cop last night.
So they're all jealous. They're like, man, you get to play with Joe again.
Yeah.
So, I would just like randomly snap pictures of him, like traveling and shit like that. Because he had a big ass head. Head was big as shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And so we would always like joke about that. So yeah, no, it's good to always like reconnect with coaches, players, and all that. And that's what's great. If you kind of go to some different teams, you meet a lot of guys that you get to see around here, stuff like this, or reconnect with later on somewhere.
I'm gonna take that piece of advice and just randomly snap pics of Todd when we're traveling, and then compile a little album for him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he ever noticed. There might have been one time when he's kind of like, "What is he? What's he doing?" It's like, Joe, don't worry about it, man.
It's funny because if I looked at my phone, I probably have like tons of pictures of guys like knocked out with their mouth open on the plane. Like,
yeah,
for sure.
No, I definitely do too. It's kind of creepy when you think about it. Like
Now that it's over,
when you're going
like,
through your album, you're like, why do I have so many pictures of grown men sleeping? But you kind of have to have it just in case one day.
Exactly.
This is, this is so cool. Both of you guys, undrafted guys, and then both had a very long, successful career in the NFL. Todd, I don't even think I've asked you this, so I want to ask both of you guys this. At what point in your NFL careers did you realize, like, okay, I'm going to, I've made it in the NFL? Because I'm sure it's not, you talked about it all the time, Todd, like your first summer with the Saints, you're like, you're still trying to get into it and everything. You haven't realized that you made it yet.
Yeah, I think for me, it was once I became a starter. I think anything up until then, it was like, especially as an undrafted guy, they're always coming for your spot. So, like, once they named me starter is when I really feel like, all right, I'm here. I'm here to stay. Like, now, whatever I do is on me. But what about you? What was your moment?
Yeah, same thing. Special teamer, first 5 years or so.
Yep.
And, always last on the depth chart going to camp at safety, but, one on special teams depth charts. So, had to work through being, like, on the bubble, first couple years. Then you're like, okay, I'm a solidified special teamer.
Yep.
But even then, new draft picks are coming in. Yeah. They don't give a shit. They'll replace a special teamer in a heartbeat.
Quick.
And then, finally got an opportunity to become a starter. And then even then, they're trying to find someone to take your starting spot or whatever it is. And then, once you get a longer contract, you feel a little bit better. But, again, there's guys that every year that get traded or released or whatever, and everyone's like, holy shit, like, how did that happen? Yeah. So I think as an undrafted guy, and most undrafted guys will say this, is that you kind of always treat every year like you're an undrafted free agent.
For sure.
And I would always tell young guys, like, treat every year like it's your last year, and it won't be. And you'll probably get another one. You'll probably get another one. So that was kind of, I think, just all the undrafted guys kind of always have that chip on their shoulder a little bit. It's just kind of the way it is because you had to really just grind to get, on a team and be there, like, for sure.
So when you guys hear, especially having that attitude and mindset, because you have to, when you hear guys like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce come out and say, like, oh, no one believed in us, are you like, what the fuck? Man?
Yeah,
like,
no, it's not the same. I think people get mad about being drafted like number 12 overall because they feel like they should have went 1. I wasn't drafted at all. Like, that's really nobody believing in you.
There's like 30 teams passed on me. I'm like, okay, but you still got drafted in the first round. So, like, what?
Exactly.
I'm like, that's like literally, who cares? Like, you got drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I'm curious. So the Broncos need a quarterback, and the top quarterback on the market is Kirk Cousins. What do you think about Kirk?
Kirk is, personality-wise, we're not necessarily the same, but like the teammates love him because he's like the perfect combination of, like, he works hard, he's by the book, but he's also like down to like take his shirt off and put on 100 chains. Like, you know what I mean? So he's got like he can kind of like mend between these kind of two areas to where the teammates love him. And I mean, just to be honest, man, quarterback's freaking hard to play. Like when you can find a guy that can at least like win games pretty consistently and like give you a shot to just get in the playoffs, like you have to ride with that, because if you were like, okay, well, that's not good enough, we want like consistent Super Bowl every year, it's like you're going to go another like 5 or 6 years going through quarterbacks trying to find one. It's just hard to do. Really, you got to have a guy that can get you in there, and then once you're in, it's kind of any man's game at that point.
Yeah, it's really the most important position. And you know how it is. Like, the years when you look at that quarterback and like, we're not about to do anything this year. And the years that you're like, all right, we can maybe make something shake. Like, it's very different.
It's interesting, man. I know our 2017 season in Minnesota, Bradford was starting, got hurt. Case Keenum comes in. And we're like, shit. I played against Case in college. He was at U of H. He diced us up. But, he's got to, get the timing and all this stuff down. So it's like, the first game he started, got our ass kicked, and we're just like, oh, here we go. We won one game. We lost a game. And then we just went on an absolute tear and like finished like 13-3. And even one of those games late in the year, Bradford got healthy and they started him and didn't play very well. Then they put Case back in and came and won the game for us. And then after that, it was all Case's job, and has definitely kept him around for a long time now. So I used to, obviously I've known Case for a long time from playing against him in college, and U of H was our rival when I was at Rice. So. I loved him when he was on my team, but when he was not, in college, I was like, this guy.
Yeah, that tear is what brought him to the Broncos, huh?
Yes, it was.
That's exactly it. Yeah, he came to Denver because of that.
Yeah.
We got with Teddy, too.
Yeah.
Teddy, and then Case Keenum, maybe Kirk is next.
You never know.
It's possible.
It's possible.
Saying what you said about when you get a quarterback, you stick with them, because if you don't have one, you're in a drought like the Broncos have been in since Peyton Manning left. Are you surprised that Sean Payton benched Russell Wilson, and now it seems like they're going to move on from it after throwing 26 touchdowns to 8 picks?
I mean, I'm pretty sure when your head coach comes out in the first week of being hired and is calling out the quarterback for kissing the babies and being political, you can kind of tell from jump that he doesn't really like that guy. And I heard Sean Payton was cool as hell. I've never played for him. But he seems like a guy that doesn't really kind of play that shit with, all the goody kind of, political stuff. He's just about winning ball games. So, I mean, it's always surprising when they kind of just publicly kind of come out and they're like, you're benched, but maybe had to kind of set the tone of we're looking for a new quarterback. So,
did anybody ever do that to you? Go out to the media and say, Andrew, he's got to pull it together?
No.
That's nice.
No, nothing like that. So I also wasn't the starting quarterback, doing all that. I was just a safety. So.
There's one more connection between you two. A lot of connections. There's one more. You both played football in Sacramento. Todd, you were at Sacramento State.
Yeah.
The Hornets?
And you.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
And you're with the Sacramento Mountain Lions? Is that right?
In the UFL.
Yeah.
Wow. So I had some time in Sacramento for, I think it was an 8-game season in the UFL. So it ended the beginning of November, and then I probably had a week off, and then I got picked up to Dallas in 2010. So I made it out of that league. I was there the perfect year.
Yeah.
In 2009, that league had just started. 2010, they kind of had it figured out. They brought in some bigger name guys. My head coach was Dennis Green. My quarterback was Dante Culpepper.
Dang.
Wow.
Bro, we had, just even J.D. Washington was our running back, so Denzel Washington would just be at the games hanging out.
Yeah.
And then 12 years later, I'm watching Tenet, and J.D. Washington's in the movie. I'm this guy, we were just, he's just take
That's
showers
crazy.
together.
So we were
It's
literally
crazy.
in SAC at the same time because I was in college still then.
Okay, yeah.
Did you live in like Old Town or where'd you guys live? Midtown?
They made us live in a hotel. We had to like share a hotel with like another grown man. Like, so, like bro, like
for how long?
So camp was a little bit later than the NFL camp, but I mean, basically 3 months of sharing. Yeah, sharing
That's
a
a
room,
lot.
sharing
Yeah,
a
that's
bro.
a
Then we
lot.
would. Then the facility they had all the the field got messed up. It was kind of poor facility. So then we started like busing to like a local high school. We would literally take a yellow school bus. And I didn't give a shit. I was like, man, I'm playing football and like getting paid. Like I was like, whatever. So.
What do you think Dante Culpepper thought of that?
I think he probably drove his own car, if I had to guess. I don't think he rode the yellow bus. But what was crazy, too, was Mike McDaniel was on that staff, and he was the one that recruited me like to that UFL team.
Wow.
And so this was 2010, little skinny-ass Mike McDaniel, now the head coach of the Dolphins. We were just sitting on the bus. He's like, I can see it. Like, you're going to play at least 10 years in the league. And I was like, I'll be happy if I just get like a tryout. And then fast forward like 13 years later, like he's the head coach of the Dolphins. Like I just finished my 12-year career, and I was like, damn, like that guy literally, he could like see it, or like he at least spoke it into existence. So
That's crazy.
Kind of nuts.
As you were on a yellow school bus with him. That is wild. You're
Yeah,
like,
like
hey.
sharing a bench seat, like literally, like
You're like, yeah, but if I'm going to play 10 years in the NFL, you're going to be a head coach in the
yeah,
NFL.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
We need a
That's kinda
30
how-
for 30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, so I got to, it was fun just to like throughout my career, anytime we would play against them, we see each other on the field, whatever, like, chat it up for a little bit. So got to watch him kind of rise through the ranks of, being an offensive coach, and then kind of me going through like being, special teamer to starter to all that. So kind of got to like watch each other kind of go through the same process, so to speak.
Man,
That's what's up.
that is so cool. And thank you so much for joining us here. And, maybe Kirk Cousins will be the quarterback of the Broncos, and that will just continue.
Another
That
connection.
quarterback carousel from Minnesota. Thank you so much for joining us, and really cool company that you started.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, man. Andrew, thank you for joining us today.
Yep. Thanks,
All right,
man.
Thanks,
you
brother.
guys.
All right, and we are out here today because of our friends over at Factor Meals, our presenting sponsor of this show. You got to check out Factor, where they have the best meals out there, sent to you every single Tuesday, and you can choose between keto, you can choose vegan, you can choose vegetarian, you can choose your meats that you want. Yep. You get to choose, Todd. That's what, at least there's choices there.
I think I'm vegetarian now, too.
They
And
have
you know
a
what?
vegetarian option.
What I'll tell you about their meats is they're the juiciest meats that you can find.
That's how we're doing this?
It's true, though. Their chicken is incredible. I mean, I'm seeing people get their chicken. I bet Factor's chicken's even better than that. So if you want Factor, it supports us for being here. And then also you're going to get a wonderful product that's healthy, that's fresh, that's delicious, that's great quality. It's everything that you want. And they're going to give you 50% off if you go to factormeals.com/DNVR Broncos 50 to get 50% off your first order over at Factor. We really appreciate them sending us out here and them being our presenting sponsor. So use that code DNVR Broncos 50 over at factormeals.com.
Check out DraftKings, too. It's a...
Come on, be excited about
I'm
this.
excited.
What are you doing?
I had to take
My
a breath before.
goodness.
You know how long this takes.
It
You
is
know
a
how
minute.
long this takes.
You can take multiple breaths.
Sometimes I feel bad that they're doing a show over there, and I'm just screaming.
Who cares? This is better. This is the best to
Radio
go.
Row.
Yes, but yesterday, I asked them, I was like, was I just yelling that entire time? They're like, yeah. You were just yelling that entire time. I was like, okay, good.
See,
Take a
Henry,
note.
don't ask questions because then you don't get answers.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been in my head.
That's maybe your issue. Maybe you talk too much.
People have been saying those things recently in Vegas. So DraftKings, does that sound excited? They are awesome. It's a big week for DraftKings, of course, with the Super Bowl this week.
Yeah?
We're looking super because new customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 into $200 instantly in bonus bets. They've got all sorts of prop bets, of course. This is a big week for prop bets. They've got like the squares. They've got all that sort of stuff. And if you want to make some money before then, bet on the Avs, bet on the Nuggets. You'll make some money before Sunday that you can rebet and turn into even more. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code DNVR. New customers can bet $5, get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 58. With code DNVR, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, or in West Virginia, visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. That's 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
You did such a great job, Henry.
Phenomenal.
We're proud of you. We're really proud of you. And let's give out our DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week right now. So we were at opening night last night, and there was a big vibe that I got from this, at least for last night, if not for this game. It is going to be so 49er heavy. I mean, anytime the 49ers were out there, it was cheers. Anytime that Mahomes or Kelsey took the microphone, it was extremely loud boos. And I hate that. I hate that because I think like like Michael Jordan, he always made up things to get him fired up. Patrick Mahomes kind of has that mentality where they live on the it's us against the world. No, it's not. You're not the underdogs here, but I think they're going to thrive off that. So that's a vibe I do not like. But for my DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week, I'm going to go a different way. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving out even odds on heads or tails for the coin flip, meaning plus 100, meaning they're making no money off of this bet right here. So you got to take it. Anytime you can get good odds in Vegas, you got to take it. And what do they say? Tails never fails. So give me tails for the coin toss at plus 100 over at DraftKings Sportsbook. They thousands of bets that you can bet on.
What an adventure was to that bet.
I never picked tails.
Never.
Really?
Yeah, I always pick tails.
How did you do?
What did
Usually pretty good.
What did you say? Heads never fails?
The head and never the tail. You're the best and never the worst.
Wait, say that again?
The head and never the tail. You're the head of it, because if you're the tail,
That's
that's cheeks.
Yeah, that's what that is.
But don't we like that?
No, well, you don't want to
Head
be...
is pretty good, too.
Had to do that one.
That didn't even get a laugh out of you here.
Did you
He's
see-
a customer
Oh, he's
here.
not listening.
Jeez Louise.
Finding the comments. Did we talk about the Jair Alexander thing? Just putting himself out on the field for the coin toss. And then saying, we want to kick. And then doing an entire interview after with him not understanding what the mistake was there. Why you say defer.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that, Todd?
No, I think I usually make good decisions.
Oh, good.
I think I won 80% of the coin tosses. It's not bad.
That's
not bad.
incredible.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's great. My pick
So
of the
should I
week.
switch to heads then?
No, you already said it.
Okay. Tails never fails. There we go.
All right.
Pick your side, guys. I think I really hate this, but I'm just taking the Chiefs money line. I'm in a dark place. Dark place. It's just I mean, how could you not bet on Patrick Mahomes right now?
Yeah.
How could you not? When I look at the game, that's what I see. It's that big screaming face right there. And that's, plus money on the Chiefs in a Super Bowl. It feels wrong. I'm going to take advantage.
All right.
News coming out right now, though. Andy Reid just said that Joe Thuney is a long shot to play. That's pretty important. Pro Bowl guard?
Yeah.
Oh.
Or is it not important?
They won without him against the
They did.
Ravens.
Damn, I'm trying to build the case against them.
I
You guys
know.
just keep tearing it down.
Well,
I think...
let me give you my bet real quick.
Oh, yeah. One real quick. When I heard...
No, I'll give you my bet real quick.
When I heard there's big
So
news.
my bet is Christian McCaffrey plus 475, I think, to be the MVP.
I like that so
I
much.
think if the 49ers pull it off, it has to be at the hands of Christian McCaffrey. I don't feel like Brock Purdy is going to be the man to get the job done, so Christian McCaffrey is going to have to go off. Plus 475. Whew.
Todd,
My ticket.
I absolutely love that. And that was actually the first bet that I identified, right when the AFC conference games were over.
Yep.
And I sent it to one of my buddies, and I was like, this is incredible. Because it was the exact same thing. If the 49ers win, he's going to be the MVP. So
Yep.
I'm not saying they're going to win, but at plus 475 to get the favorite to win, I'm like, this is easy. And you know what he reminded me? Which really made me feel bad about the bet.
What?
You know who the last Super Bowl MVP from the running back position was?
I do.
Terrell Davis?
Yeah.
TD.
Yeah.
Yeah. TD. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
if it's going to be any team, it's this team, right? Because typically, to be fair, they do have a superstar quarterback if they're
Yeah.
in the Super Bowl. And Brock Purdy's had a great season, but he's not that superstar type of name that would take over that award, like guaranteed.
Exactly. And usually, if he
might
was
be
a
in a week.
superstar name, like you literally have to have 200 yards and a touchdown, and you're probably going to get MVP. Right?
Yeah.
That's true.
It really doesn't take much.
Also, just so you know, Hank is getting flamed in the comments
Oh,
for taking
goodness.
the Chiefs again.
Of course he is. Yeah.
He deserves it too for trying to shut up Todd real quick.
I got him. You know
He
what I'm
does.
saying?
He does.
Well, you won't hear the other quirky piece of news that came out.
And we don't
from
want to. We're
Andy
moving
Reid.
on. What's the next thing, guys?
You have more Chiefs news to tell us? or
No,
what?
no, I don't
yeah,
anymore.
he definitely does.
Yeah.
What is it?
Oh, there was like a German reporter who asked Andy Reid if the theory that Taylor Swift, all that stuff is manufactured to help get Joe Biden reelected.
And what did he say?
Excuse me?
I haven't heard the answer. I would imagine he'd say no, that wasn't quite it.
What?
We can move along though.
Okay, but this does connect to something last night. So
Wait, what?
somehow we got down a deep, dark hole at dinner talking about
Oh,
Super
yeah.
Bowl 48.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about the details.
Not Todd's fault.
But
Not my fault.
Nope.
our DNVR, yeah, that's true. They brought you in to make sure that didn't happen again.
Yep.
Exactly.
Our DNVR Buffs insider Jake Schwanitz was like, yeah, man, that game was just so crazy, like such a dark day in my life. Like, Russell Wilson didn't even play well for the Seahawks to win, and he's like, it was so crazy that they gave the Super Bowl MVP award to, no disrespect, Todd, a linebacker.
Yeah. That's a nice shot to the heart.
That is tough.
And then you gave him a look, which I think he had to go to the bathroom after from that.
Yeah.
So can you guess what the odds are for the Fred Warner? He has the best odds to be Super Bowl MVP.
I would guess that he's like plus 600 to get an interception. And you
I'm
probably
sure you can
need
bet on that.
And you probably need 2 interceptions to be Super Bowl MVP, and you need to win. So I would say it's about 3,500.
Yeah, I was going to say plus 4,000.
Oh, you guys might be betting on this one. Plus 12,000.
No, dang.
It's a shame the 49ers aren't going to win this game.
You just keep doing it, man. What? Nick Bolton is more likely to win it? Oh, like not odds-wise, but Nick Bolton to be the Super Bowl MVP. Holy moly, you got to really scroll down. Maybe I missed him, but Frank Warner, especially
Fred.
opening. Fred, thank you.
Yep. Gotcha.
Fred, he's like the face of the 49ers.
On defense.
Yeah.
Well, one of them, yeah.
Yeah, and like their team is a big defense. But I mean, like on all the things that I'm surprised they don't have him on one of these banners with how much they showed him last night too.
Yeah.
And it looks like the wings are back out, and they're going to be gone when we're done again. So
You want to leave? I mean, I think everyone would be happy with that.
Oh,
nobody would be
dang.
happy about that.
I don't know. You hear some of the comment section would be fairly happy with that.
It's sad, but it is what it is. The Chiefs are just,
Okay, you know what? Oh, here we go. We're going to get you here talking to us.
There's a comment from Frito Beat 17. Bro, Hank needs to be off this pod.
Dang.
Bomb pays. Laughing emoji.
Wow. Well, you know what? We're going to let Hank off this show for a couple of minutes to play an interview that we got with Randy Gregory last night. Of course, we haven't talked to him. No one in Denver has talked to him since the breakup. And I thought he had some very interesting things to say about it. So let's hear from Randy right now.
Talking to Thomas Inkum, Benito, all those guys, they say that they're still in touch quite a bit with you and Frank. Why do you keep talking to them?
Why do I keep talking to them? Good guys. I mean, we're friends. We're teammates.
Yeah. What do you have to say? Like when you get to talk to them, obviously, you played a lot of football, but what they say is you can teach them so much about structuring pass rush moves, all the plans, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
How does that even work? Over text, trying to give that sort of advice.
We all watch each other's games. Obviously, they play a little bit earlier than most people do. Them being on Mountain Time Zone, and even we do too. So, but we watch each other's games, and obviously, we're all students of the game, so we all want to get better. A lot of stuff I can learn from them, I have learned from them, and vice versa. So
I'm curious with Benito. One of the things that stood out to me is like whenever they like pull somebody, he's just like beating him up the field. And so like early in the season, they're running like the counter mode, like all that sort of stuff.
He's a fast
Is that what
kid.
you see?
Yeah, I mean, I've always told him his main way he's going to be able to win. He can run the hoop better than a lot of people in the league, better than I know I can. His big thing now is being able to put the whole thing together. He's got to be able to go inside, outside, and the guy. But he has all the tools to be a great pass rusher in this league. He knows that. My coach walking by, hear me talking about pass rushing. But yeah, he's got all the tools to be a real good pass rusher in this league for a long time. He knows that.
How much have you heard from them this week?
This week, none. They know not to bother me this week. I talked to DJ.
Okay. Oh, Niner too.
Yeah, I talked to DJ right after the game, right at the NFC Championship. But my phone's been a little bit quiet for the most part this week, which has been good. Last thing I want to do is be done with a bunch of texts and advice.
How much fun are you having?
A lot. Yeah.
That's an awesome.
It's tough to get here. Like I said, I've been with the Cowboys. I've been in that first round, that second round, and seeing how tough it is to get out of there. I've been in Denver and some of the growing pains we have there, and so to be here and get to that kind of stuff is big. It's tough. And obviously, my journey it hasn't been straight line. I've had a lot of detours, so be able to get through all that, still be here kicking it's big.
It's crazy. It's the Chiefs too.
Yeah.
Like divisional team, like a team that you played so much.
Got to do it for my Denver folks.
Yeah.
Take care of business.
They want to see it.
Yeah.
They want it badly.
Sure we all do.
Yeah.
What's it like thinking about where you were 4 months ago?
It's tough. I'm happy. Obviously, I don't want to say everything happens for a reason, but I'm happy. Obviously, I got a lot of guys on that team that I still care about. A lot of people on that staff I still care about. My family still lives there. So, I still have a lot of love there. But business is tough sometimes in this league. And, I've seen one side of it my younger years in the league. And, I've gotten to see another side of it, my later years. And I'm grateful for that. But, it all happens for a reason. I'm happy.
We did that.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah. It's all right.
What, same question?
One more for me. Why is Brock Purdy so good?
I don't want to say, I'm not a quarterback guy, but what I will say is he's got a lot of intangibles that I just don't think you can find in everyone, and I think a lot of times people try to get on him about other little stuff or the amount of playmakers we have around him, and you're gonna fault us at that I guess, but he does a lot of stuff that I think the average eye can't see. Throws people open sometimes. Can get around the pocket real well. It's just a lot of stuff he does, and I'm sure Kyle Shanahan could probably give you the best answer because he can give you a detailed one. I'm not a QB guy.
Like having been with him for a couple months now, like can you tell that he's like that guy?
He's a lot of OCs are like that. OC-minded coaches are like that, but he's different. The level of film that we watch, not only just like as a position, but as a team. Never been a part of it. I've never been a part of a team meeting that was an hour long, and we're watching every play, offense and defense, and
I've been talking to Thomas Incoom, Benito.
Film that we watch, not only just like as a position, but as a team. Never been a part of it. I've never been a part of a team meeting that was an hour long, and we're watching every play, offense and defense, and and that's almost a every week occurrence. The amount of prep and film work he does, he tires himself out with that. But I think that's what makes him so great.
Is it weird watching the Chiefs with that coaching staff after watching the Chiefs from the Broncos lens over and over again, or do they say the same things, see the same things?
It's all the same.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I will say, Coach Garrett, if he ever hears this, Jason Garrett, he used to say, they're a nameless, faceless opponent. That used to be his thing he would always say every week. Didn't matter who we were playing, it's about us, and I think that's kind of how we feel. They got their own thing going on. I felt that way in Denver, and I think that's kind of the way they got to feel every year over there in Denver. Obviously, they beat them this year. You got to keep thinking that. You got to think you're at the top of that damn division to keep getting those wins. So.
I feel like you know a little bit more about the Chiefs though, since you had to prepare for them twice.
I've never played them. I've never actually played them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I've been either hurt. I think I played them one time, maybe with Dallas. Probably a year I was suspended, but never played them with Denver. I'm sad about that. And I used to live in Kansas City. I used to go to Arrowhead and sit in the nosebleeds with my parents and watch a lot of games. So, I've never been able to play them. Bummed about it.
Is all the family pulling for you though, or are some still repping Chiefs this week?
Everyone's, yeah. I don't have any family there. Most of my family's DMV area and Memphis area on my mom's side. So, but everyone's gonna be cheering for 49ers, obviously. I'll try to, man.
Really cool insight from Randy there. And I honestly had no idea if he was going to be thankful for the Broncos for how things went down or if he was going to be resentful. But it definitely seems like he has a good perspective. And you probably should. You're in the Super Bowl right now, potentially away.
Not a bad deal.
Not a bad deal at all. Not only could this be the first Super Bowl he wins, this could be the first time he beats the Chiefs, which is wild. He was on the Broncos for 2 years and never played the Chiefs, let alone beat them. But that's crazy. And something I can't wrap my mind around as well is how Henry would spend $100 in Las Vegas with the savings that he gets by using the code over at Game Time to save $100 off a ticket to the big game by using the code Vegas100 over at Game Time. If you go to the big game, you're going to get $100 off your purchase. And did you guys see the good news for people that want to go to the game? The prices are the prices are skydropping, falling
from the sky.
Are falling from the sky. Does that make sense? Yeah, sure. Makes sense enough. Sure. Okay, we'll roll with it. The prices are going down. How about that? Prices are going down.
They are doing math.
They're falling drastically over at Game Time. So if you're going to be here, you want to make that trip out, use that code Vegas100. Or, of course, if you're just going to go to any other event, whether it's sporting, whether it's concert, whether it's in Vegas, whether it's in Denver, whether it's across the country, use the code DNVR to get $20 off any purchase you make over at Game Time. You know we love Game Time. We all use it, so you want to check them out. Use that code DNVR to get $20 off, or Vegas 100 over at Game Time.
You know where you can find some more good savings at?
Where's that?
Empire Today. You
That's
like
beautiful.
that?
That was beautiful. I like that.
Empire Today is where you can get the best flooring, from hardwood floors to carpet. They do it all, and they have a price match guarantee, making sure you get the lowest price. Wow. So if you find the same flooring anywhere else, you can go back to them to make sure that they put it in correctly and you're getting the best work done. And right now, you can schedule a free in-home estimate. What do you mean?
Put it in correctly.
Yeah, you got to make sure you put it in correctly.
That's true. That's
Don't want
to
put it on a wall? Yeah, that'd be terrible.
If it doesn't match up right, if it doesn't line up, it's not good, man. All listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DNVR. Restriction apply. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for details.
Boom. Beautifully done. Henry, what did you take away from that Randy Gregory interview?
Oh, boy. Like you said, I went up to it. I kind of waited for him and went up to him and was like, hey, what's up, man? And I thought there was a real chance he would not want to talk to me, just given that I'm the Broncos guy there to ask Broncos question. But no, he was super cool and he really enjoyed it.
No, given the fact that you're Henry.
No, we get me and I like Randy. And Randy is all right with me at a minimum. But yeah, we chat with him a little bit after too about all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's good that he wasn't bitter and angry or just wanted to ignore it. He's just in a good place. Things worked out pretty well for Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper and those guys as well. And now he gets a chance to go get a ring. Hopefully he does too.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Yes.
but Henry, you're putting your money on the other squad.
Oh, yeah. I did.
Did you tell Randy that? Like off camera? Like, hey man, just so you know, I'm betting against you.
No,
You're gonna lose.
I actually
No
I
chance.
didn't bring that up. No,
Oh, that's weird.
I didn't decide till this morning anyway.
Because you got scared?
No, I don't. I mean, no, he wouldn't hurt me there.
Okay, well, one more thing from last night. We went around, and it was something we're going to continue to do throughout this week and when we have other guests on this show. But one of the things we did is we tried to find out who the Broncos starting quarterback is going to be by asking some big-time names in the media who were there last night. I want to play that for you here. Let's dial it up. All right, we're here with big-time Jeff Darlington. Jeff, we all want to know, who's the Broncos quarterback going to be this year?
Oh shit, that's a great question. I mean, it doesn't feel like he's on the roster, right? Like, what does Denver think right now? Like, what does like a community say? It's not going to be Russ.
Bo Nix?
Yes, yeah. So you think just straight draft process, not?
Maybe. I mean, I'm kind of with you.
I think everybody has accepted the fact that Russ and Sean, as soon as he got the chance, he was going to bench him, and he did. And once that happened, that was when we inevitably knew that that was not going to work, despite the financial implications. Now, I guess we still have to turn the page to, do you draft a guy? Do you look at free agency? There's not going to be a ton available, but Sean Payton is so tightly wound when it comes to his quarterback needing to be so smart. So it's gonna be a tough job for whoever it is.
We're here with big-time Diana Rossini. Diana, we all want to know, who's the Broncos quarterback going to be this year?
The Broncos quarterback is going to be Jared Stidham. That's who it's going to be, and I think it's going to be a successful season too.
Joined by Josina Anderson, big time. Josina, we're out in Denver. Who will be the Broncos quarterback this coming year?
Oh, wow. Let me kind of pivot, okay? Because I don't have an immediate answer for that.
Fair.
But I would like to at least acknowledge the job that Sean Payton has done. I know it was a little rocky there for a little bit, as far as, you know, just the acclimation period when he first got there, then the stuff with Russell Wilson and all those other things. But I've been covering the NFL for over 20 years, and so I've seen a lot. And one thing I know that doesn't change is that Sean Payton knows offense, and he's a whale for a reason. And it's okay for a whale sometimes to act like a whale, because he's earned that. He's earned that.
Where do you think Russell Wilson will go?
I think he'll have a lot more options than people think. I just don't think it was a great marriage there between Sean Payton and Russell with where he's at in his career. But look, the one thing you know in the NFL, someone's going to need a quarterback, and I believe he can still play.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting if he's not going to get a starting job. So is Russell going to be willing to take a backup role? We saw Cam Newton go through something similar, and it didn't necessarily work out. Yes, I think he gets another opportunity. I don't think that Russ has started his last game, but that's not an envious situation to be in. He's going to have to be, for an alpha, he's going to have to take a step back and probably not make as much money either.
Are you sure? Y'all not getting along, but are you sure that you have someone even better, so that now you're not putting your own job in jeopardy the next year and you see what happened? So you want to move on. Yes, you want a better girlfriend, but is your girlfriend hotter and better that you got in the back seat?
So what we learned from that was no one has any idea what Sean Payton is doing. Literally back-to-back answers last night from two very well-connected people in the NFL circles. One of them says Russell Wilson is absolutely going to have many opportunities to start. Another person says that the Broncos, or that Russ is going to have no opportunities to start. He's going to be a backup. We had Jarrett Stidham is an answer. And, that's the way Sean Payton operates, is when, Todd, you were a player, John Elway operated a very different way. He was very open with the media. Information was free-flowing. We kind of knew what was going to happen. Like Ryan and I, when we were at the Combine, before the Broncos signed Case Keenum, we got really good intel that Case Keenum was going to be the Broncos' next quarterback. That's not going to happen with Sean Payton at the helm. You're not going to know until a move is made.
Yeah, what's with the secrecy? Like, do you think he thinks it affects the deals that he's able to make if he lets you guys in on the secret?
Potentially, and I just think that the NFL they're built on being paranoid, and so if you let any information out, that's just that's makes you even more paranoid.
I also don't think they know. Like they might know whether it's like Russ or not Russ, but from there, like I mean, we said before, there isn't like an easy answer here. Like, are you going to overpay for Kirk Cousins and Baker Mayfield and give yourself the cap situation the Saints have right now? Probably not a great idea. Like, are you going to go get Jimmy Garoppolo? Not a great idea. Are you just going to go get a rookie? Like, that doesn't solve your problems. Like, plenty of others. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of it is they don't know what they're doing. They might know whether or not they're keeping Russ, though.
Yeah, they should at this point.
They should.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're
definitely.
5 weeks away from them officially having to make a decision on Russell Wilson. Because if he's still on the roster in 6 weeks from now, then that means that Russell Wilson is going to be on the team, not just this year, but next year as well, because that March 13th date is when that 2025 guaranteed money kicks in.
I bet he just can't wait for March 13th. Like, he's like, Russ.
Yes.
I know he's probably just
to get
hoping.
that $37 million guaranteed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want the money.
Yep. All right.
Oh,
and
let's
look
go.
who we've got.
Let's go.
We got our guy Field Yates. What's going on?
What's
so great to have you here.
How are you? Good to see you. How you doing?
What's up?
Long time no see. How you doing?
Man, anytime I talk to you, Field, it's like I'm just talking to another Colorado guy. I mean, you know about ALLCITY, you know about DNVR, and your wife's family's out in Colorado,
Yeah,
so
my
it's
wife,
like your second home?
Raised in Colorado, so I feel like I've got, I don't know, I guess probably not, I was going to say 10% Colorado in me, but by the time, in 20 years, I'll say that I was also raised in Colorado, and I'll say that our kids will be raised in Colorado, so every time we get out there, it's a lot of fun. So,
oh, man, I love it, and, we are just trying to figure out the Broncos quarterback situation.
Yep.
You guys aren't going to tell me what's happening?
No, you're going to tell us.
I was kind of hoping. You know what? So, there's actually, I think, sort of a fairly narrow range of outcomes for them, right? I mean, they cast their die when they made the decision to bench Russ, and obviously they didn't. I mean, they did not deactivate him, so they weren't entirely protecting against injury. If Jared had gotten hurt, they would have brought Russ back in. But they sort of were telling us what they're going to do. I mean, the fact that they have now both publicly acknowledged the idea of altering the contract for the injury guarantees, like, we know where this is headed. It's going to be a painful one. There's just no two ways about it. Like, there's no good way to remove the Russell Wilson contract from the books and just be like, salary cap solid. It's going to take a year to basically get over that. But we've seen teams. I mean, the Rams got off the Jared Goff contract and won the Super Bowl that year. And obviously, Jared's had a great season, great run with Detroit. But that was a tough pill to swallow. Philadelphia did the same thing with Carson Wentz. You can bounce back. What's interesting for Denver, though, is that because of the salary cap ramifications for Russ and because of the big spending this past offseason, they don't strike me as the team that's going to have the ability to, if there is a big-name quarterback to sign in free agency, spend big there, right? There's only so much money that you can allocate to a position, even the most important one in sports, in quarterback. So it kind of brings me to the 12th pick in the draft. They got 6 picks total, obviously no second-round picks. So when you have 6 total picks and you go from 12 to, what is that, probably like 75 is their next pick, 77, 78, somewhere in that range. History tells us, right, 78 is not where you find your quarterback. It's at 12, right? So my forecast right now, and not to spoil my mock draft that comes out in 8 days, is 12 will be a quarterback, right? I mean, I am preparing for all of your very loyal fans to get mad and say there's no way these kids are worth it, and you can't, it's that's a reach. I would like to hear the alternative. Now, if you want to move back in the draft by 6 slots and pick up some extra ammo, that would be the ideal scenario. I think what the NFL has told us from time to time is 2 things. 1, it takes 2 to tango. You got to find that partner to move back. And 2, many general managers and franchises will operate with this mindset. If we like a guy enough that we would take him at pick 12, why risk it to move back at pick 18?
Exactly.
You take him, you either like him or you don't. And if you don't like him, then don't take him at 12. Don't take him at 18. Don't take him at 28, right? Like, I consider, sometimes I evaluate quarterbacks like you're going shopping for a house. Like, at some point, you either like it or you don't. It's either worth buying or it's not, right? If it's not worth buying, I don't care. If it's for $1, maybe you do it, right? But, like, the price is not going to be $1. So, I think 12, quarterback is very much in play. I think that tier of quarterbacks probably includes J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix, and also Michael Penix Jr. That's the evaluation for those 3 is going to very much depend on who you're talking to. And I think the pre-draft process will also be very important for each of them because the tape is obviously there, and it's not like that's going anywhere. But as we know, being a quarterback is about not just how you perform on the field. It's about what kind of leader are you, what kind of processor are you. For some of those guys, it's going to be size. Some of those guys are going to be health, right? JJ is 6'2", 207 pounds, right? Michael Penix Jr. has multiple ACL injuries. But are those things that are things of the past that are not concerns, or are they things that will remain concerns going forward?
Man, wouldn't we love being 6'2", 207 pounds?
I'm like 6'3", 220 pounds. Right? So.
I'm actually glad to hear you say that, because I've seen a lot of mock drafts that have either a defender, like a corner or outside linebacker. And as a linebacker, like, I love good defense, but you know, it's a quarterback-driven league, and I think that's where the Broncos need to start.
Not only that, but like, you have Sean Payton as your head coach.
Yeah.
I don't care what pick you have. If you have Sean Payton, your head coach, he knows the operation ain't working unless you got the right quarterback.
For sure.
And, you know, Sean, as I said, I think he kind of declared what he feels the value is for Russ in this offense. And he kind of has, like, I call it the quarterback Mendoza line. You're above or you're below it. If you're below it, you're probably not going to be on the team for very long. If you're above it, then you got a chance to win a Super Bowl, because, you know, Sean has proven that in the past. So I would not discount sort of his ability to tutor these kids. That's important. If you threw, you know, like a Bo Nix in Denver, is it the same as throwing a Bo Nix to a team that's not got Sean Payton as their head coach? The answer is no. But how many teams are really, really thriving right now with a quarterback that's, you know, not at the standard of the coach's liking, that doesn't have, you know, an unbelievable group of pass catchers and a dominant offensive line, things like that. Like, the formula, history has told us many times over, is you have a great quarterback, you have a chance. Defense can certainly win you championships, right? Denver has seen that. But still, you know, Payton in that version of himself was still enough processor and smart enough and heady enough that he could do what the team needed him to do to get to that Super Bowl.
Man, talking about the Mendoza, it's so perfect, because it's not just the stats, because 26 touchdowns to 8 picks is what Russ had last year. That's way good enough, but it's not to Sean Payton's standard. It's not what Sean is looking for. So you have to view it through that lens. And so when you look at the draft and you look at those 3 guys who's likely going to be the pick, or likely going to be the options at 12, who's the Sean Payton guy?
That's a good question. So I think Michael Penix is the most talented of the 3.
You love hearing it, Todd.
Yeah, he's a big game player. He was down in Mobile this past week. Didn't play in the game at the Senior Bowl, but he was out there at practice. He's got an aura about him. Like, it's clear the players that were there at practice gravitated towards Michael Penix Jr. More so than like most quarterbacks that they would be around, right? He's got, I hate to use sort of generic, he's got an it factor, right? I mean, like, I was fired up being around him too. Him and Bo, comparable size. I actually thought Michael was bigger than Bo. I thought Bo would be a little, I thought he was, to be honest with you, shorter. Both of them are like around 6'2" range.
Okay.
Fairly well built too, both of them. JJ is a wild card, right? He does not call the plays, but they had a game this past year. They won 26 straight run plays against Penn State in the second half, right? So it's a complicated evaluation. They won a ton of games at Michigan. The guy was 26-1, or the team was 26-1 with him as a starter. However, in his like big 8 final games, like huge, like these are the kind of games that could define his draft stock, average like 150 yards a game, which again, not his fault, but still, the sample size is just different. Michael Penix is one of 2 quarterbacks, like the last 10 years, to throw for 4,500 yards in back-to-back seasons. The other one's some Patrick Mahomes guy. So there's a lot of, like, if you can't find, if you don't have a conclusion on Michael Penix, it's your fault. Like, there's plenty of evidence. Bo Nix started literally more games than any other quarterback in the history of D1 football. Same deal with Bo. Like, if you don't have your conclusion on Bo, it's your fault, not his, right? So Michael, most talented. JJ, biggest wild card. Bo is Mr. Accuracy. The guy had the single-season completion percentage record in Division I football, 77.95%, absolute surgeon. And if you know Bo Nix from the true freshman who started at Auburn, you have to delete that part of your brain, or that chapter of his career from your brain, because he's such a different player then compared to where he is now. Whereas I think Michael Penix is kind of the same guy he was at Indiana. He was just like, there was only so much he could do dragging an Indiana team as opposed to playing in Washington where he's got 3 stud receivers. Like, he was awesome at Indiana. We just didn't talk about it that much because the team wasn't very good.
Yeah,
totally. So, I'm curious what you think of the Broncos receivers, because you know they're $20-30 million over the salary cap. They can save about $10 million each, moving on from Tim Patrick or Cortland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy. And Tim, you could probably like restructure, do something like that. But you got Marvin Mims there too.
Yeah.
You know, Lil Jordan Humphrey played a role. Brandon Johnson had some moments. Like, what do you think they do there?
So Judy is the most complicated one because it's a fully guaranteed deal, right? And you got to decide, this past year is not going to embolden a team to make a trade for him, right? He obviously had a disappointing season this past year, but the very best version of Jerry Jeudy, which we saw in the final, 3 or 4 games of the 2022 season, was awesome. He had a 3-touchdown game against the Rams, and you're like, geez, this guy reminded us why he was not just a first-round pick, but like one of the great Alabama players over the past decade or so. Cortland, just unbelievably steady, and just think the world of him as a player, and think he's like as good as it gets as a human too. Like those are probably the kind of guys you want to have around your franchise for as long as you can. And for a guy who famously, I guess, had 4 touchdowns over the 3 seasons prior, comes out with 10 last year. I'd have to look closer at the specifics of keeping versus moving on from him, but I think Cortland Sutton deserves to be in the 2024 plan. And then Tim's such a hard one, right? Because obviously a really good player when he's healthy. But this is 2 straight years of basically missing the entire season. Marvin Mims excites the hell out of me. Second-round pick a year ago should excite most fans, but he just feels like it seems obvious to me that there's got to be massive plans for him. So Jeudy would probably be the one that's most compelling this offseason. But if you told me that they decided against quarterback at pick 12 because one of those top receivers fell into their laps, wouldn't totally cross that off.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And
I would be. It's probably not priority A, but in terms of positions where you tell me all right, if they used it there, I'd be like, I could understand it. It would be on the list, right?
Right, 100%. And one of those teams that needs a wide receiver is the Chiefs, and the Broncos are in this just awful reality of realizing what Mahomes is in this division. And there's kind of 2 different trains of thought of how the Broncos should approach this. One is build as good of a team around the quarterback as you can, kind of like the San Francisco 49ers and the success they've had. And then the other train of thought is do anything you can to go and get the quarterback to then compete against Patrick Mahomes, whether it's trading as far up in the draft as you can for Jaden Daniels or Caleb Williams. What approach do you think the Broncos should take?
I think that what you mentioned at the end about trading up, there's just a significant risk for any team that considers that now. And I think that the NFL does deal with recency bias like we all do in life, but we'll see where Bryce Young ends up. But can you imagine the scar tissue that probably exists right now in Carolina? You may have traded up and just taking the wrong guy. If they made that trade for C.J. Stroud and he played like he did this year in Houston and Carolina, we'd be like, first of all, the head coach would still be there. The GM would still be there. They'd all have raises as well, right? But such a narrow margin. And so the price is just so prohibitive. It's not that, I tell people often, that it's not about the potential of what it could be. It's about the potential about what it might not be that's scary, right? In order to justify the cost that it would take to go from 12 to probably 3 or 2, you're talking about, I would think, at least 12 plus the 2025 first, plus a 2026 first. You don't have a second-round pick this year. So, sure, if you plop Jaden Daniels down in Denver, it would make things a whole lot better this year, but the resources available to keep this as a sustainable model going forward are just harder to come by. And so in terms of how you build the roster, Patrick Mahomes, best player on the planet, has a chance to go down as maybe the greatest ever by the time it's all said and done. Certainly already in the debate for, probably top 2 or 3 in my estimation. Ultimately, though, I think that the things that give him the most trouble are the things that give every quarterback a lot of trouble, right? So if I'm Denver, I want to continue to have premium edge rushers on my roster. I want to have, they don't make Pat Surtains on trees, but I want to have as many of those as I can get on my roster, right? I want wide receivers that impact the game every single week, and I want an offensive line that keeps my quarterback upright. There are certain positions that just, I don't think the way that you beat the Chiefs is having, the best inside linebacker do in the NFL or the best safety do in the, those are obviously important things right now, but you need to have the guys that play these positions that are going to impact him the most on every single play. I want a pass rusher that's going to be in his ear from snap 1 until the final snap of the game.
Yep. That makes 100% sense. And Field went
easy just for me to say, right? Just go get one of those. So,
When I asked you to be on, you said, I'm down to talk anything. Avs, Nuggets, anything. The way you just broke down this Broncos team, you know that about all 32 teams. That's insane.
My appreciation for the Joker. Yep. And it's not people get pissed off when you say I didn't realize how good the Joker is. The guy's been doing it for a half decade now at this level. It's more just when you don't get the chance to watch him every night and you get to watch him every 14 days, you're just man, this is freaking sweet. And in a league where it's every time I turn, I live in Connecticut, so you get Brooklyn Nets, New York Knicks, and Boston Celtics games. And it's like every time you turn on the game, you're just like, who's out? Like a back-to-back, like this guy's out, this guy's out. 3 starters are out. You're just like, Joe, what's he missed 1 game so far this season? The guy's out every night. So anyways, I could talk about him. I could wax poetic on him for a while. Exciting. Hopefully, do we think if my math is correct, there's 48 hours, 47 hours and 59 minutes till the NBA trade deadline. Are they making a move or no? Feels like Michael Malone was sort of signaling a couple
There might be
ago.
like something small, like back of the roster, like get a backup center, but I doubt it. I think they're done.
I thought that Michael Malone's comments a couple nights ago, where he was kind of like, I don't think Calvin's going to be burning up the phone lines. Was sort of like, all right, they're not. But like, they are fun. I have a ton of respect for not just the pieces that have been there for a while, but like it's been fun to see, like when you step into that role as Calvin Booth, like. It's not that they've done something significant under his watch, like traded Aaron Gordon or MPJ or something like that. But they've, at least in my view, like kind of addressed how they go about the margins differently. And that has seemingly helped them a lot because they identified that they're not going to be in the market anymore for $15 million players. We got to find guys that pick. What was Julian Strother, like pick 30 or something like that? Hey. You got to hit on those, and they seemingly have done a good job with that. The high floor players have worked out so far for them.
100%, and you need that on any team, in any sport. So I'm gonna end it here for you. Which team in Colorado has the best chance of winning a championship next? Probably between Nuggets and Avs, but if you want to throw Broncos in there and go crazy.
Don't even bring up the Rockies.
No.
Don't even bring up the Rockies.
We're on the next year for the Rockies. And it's still 2 months from the start of the season, unfortunately. No, it's the Nuggets, right? I mean, the West, I mean, both conferences at the top seem to have some strength, but the West, I checked that state, and it's like it feels like it's been kind of a meh regular season in some ways for Denver, and then I think I saw they're a half game out of first right now.
Exactly.
It doesn't feel like they've been playing full throttle. They've had a couple not uncharacteristic losses, but I mean, as an athlete, you can attest to this, right? Like, it's just a little harder to get up every single night when you know that whether we're the 1st seed or the 6th seed, we're going to be good come playoffs. And I see this every time I watch a team play the Nuggets. They get everybody's best shot.
It's crazy.
Every time,
Tell you what, though. I had so much fun watching that Celtics-Nuggets games a few Fridays ago. That's high level. If we get those 2 teams in June, the NBA is going to be in terrific shape because they feel to me like, all things being equal, the 2 teams that are probably at their, if we played every game as a 7-game series, like I'd be betting on those 2.
Do you need a Nuggets hat for that since you're going to be surrounded by Boston fans?
I think I actually do have some. I had a sweet Carmelo old school Nuggets jersey. I think I still have that. My wife might have made me toss like half of them, but we're moving soon, so I got to go through a bunch of boxes, and I do think my Melo jersey is in there somewhere.
Good. Well, awesome. This has been awesome, Field. Thank you so much. We're looking forward to your
do it again
draft
tomorrow,
too.
right? For
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Next Wednesday. So be prepared. If you have mean comments, instead direct them to the DNVR coverage. No, I'm just telling you right now. Like I'll spill the bean. It's going to be a quarterback, and I get it. People are going to be disappointed because they're going to say there's no way you can take that guy 12, and I'm going to tell you just go read every recap of previous drafts. Quarterbacks, they're just going to go higher than you want them to, and deal with it. And just
100%.
deal with it. I'm not trying to be, sort of. I don't want to sound condescending, but I just think these guys are going to go higher than people realize.
100%, and we've seen it in Denver since Payton retired. You have to have a quarterback, especially with Sean Payton. When you invest in Sean as your head coach, you're investing in the quarterback position.
1,000% the case. So I hope they get it right this offseason, and I will be fascinated to see what the market looks like for us. Is he? If they end up cutting Russ, it's obviously going to be difficult to trade him. Now I know we got to go, but is he on the free agent market a 1-year, $20 million quarterback? Is he a 2 for 60? Is he a 3 for 100? The further, the more years, probably the higher the number is because. That it shows the legitimate interest. If it's a 1 year, it's kind of like acknowledging, like Baker last year, right? Like not totally 100%. Sure. That to me would be fascinating. How many suitors and what's the number for Russ?
And what could be so fascinating and a nightmare situation for Broncos is he could sign potentially the Raiders, and it could be a vet minimum deal because he's getting paid from the Broncos regardless. Now, he wouldn't do that for a multi-year deal, but a potential 1 year. And could you imagine if it's the Raiders and he goes out and does 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions under a coach that was willing to work with him a little more?
Yikes.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna offer no comment to Zach. He's the maniac here.
You're a smart man, Field.
I try to keep it between certain beakers here that just don't want to piss anybody off.
Man, really appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you so
Likewise,
much
guys.
for
Thanks
rocking
for
and
having me
rolling
on.
with
Good
us,
talk to
Field.
you all, and hopefully I'll see you guys around the rest of the week here.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you for your insight, Field.
Of course.
Thank you.
See you guys.
All right. So that was, awesome insight. And, I totally agree with Field. It's the 12th pick, to me, has to be a quarterback. Unless it's you go and somehow work out a contract for Kirk Cousins and you make it team-friendly. But quarterback, and I think he's right. We talk about maybe Michael Penix falls to the 3rd round. It's like, give me a break. He's a quarterback. He's not going to fall to the 3rd round.
Yep. Exactly.
Henry, you've got just the biggest smile on your face right now.
The show isn't over.
The show
It's
isn't
been an hour,
over.
but the show isn't over.
The show must go on.
Yes.
And it's about to go on with a Colorado legend, Mr. Colorado, Vic Lombardi. Vic!
Man, you guys came all the way to Vegas for a Super Bowl, and you're scraping the bottom of the Denver barrel.
What's up, man?
Todd, how you doing, man?
Good.
How you been? I mean, that is a deep scrape, bro. They're going deep to the bottom of that sandbox, saying, "Let's just get somebody on the air to fill some time."
If that's the case, I can't even imagine what I am then. How do you describe that?
I've been to a lot of Super Bowls. I've been to, I would say this, tell you how old I am. This is probably about my 18th to 20th Super Bowl, if I counted them all up. And the mere size, the gravity, the expansiveness of this thing every year, every time I come, I'm just overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Because it used to be just like a section in a hotel where they throw a bunch of people, and then it turned into an event, and now it's more than an event. Everybody's here for something, to sell something, right?
Yep.
I wish I had something to sell. Hey, you guys want to sign up for Fubo?
Oh, absolutely. We love football.
You want to use our code? Use our code if you sign up.
Is Las Vegas the best place for a Super Bowl?
Vegas is a best place for any event. Yep. If you're going to hold an event. Now, I am not a Vegas guy. I don't gamble. I don't swim. I don't know how to swim. I do like to go out to shows. I'll do that. But for anybody that wants to do anything fun, Vegas is where it's at. Like, my mom would love it here because she can play slots until she's blue in the face and blue in the hair. But I'm not much of a Vegas guy. I'm a sports guy, man. I'm just here for the sports.
Yeah, 100%. That's what we're all about. So speaking of sports, help us solve the Denver Broncos quarterback situation. How do you do that? You have no money, you have limited capital, and it needs an upgrade.
It's funny, we were talking about this on our radio show today, and we were going through all the players on the team who you'd like to keep, right? All the guys whose contracts are coming up, all the guys who are big money. And the unfortunate situation with the Broncos right now is everyone is going to be impacted by this.
For sure.
You know the business side. DJ Jones' numbers high, Cortland Sutton's numbers high. Everybody you want to keep. You want to keep guys, but you're impacted by a decision that's out of their control, and that's what sucks about being in dead cap money hell like they are right now is you don't know who's going to pay the price. Someone is. Someone's going to pay the price for this.
Yeah. Yeah, what to use the master plan? Because I feel like the quarterback question is just kind of the first step.
Yeah.
Like, that gets you through 3 months, but the Broncos are not in a situation where they're just going to have all their problems solved by September. Like, do you go through and just say, like, we got to tear things down and rebuild, or you find the quarterback and just kind of build around him? Like, big picture, where do you go from here?
I don't think players and coaches are built that way, and Todd can attest to this. You don't go into a season saying, man, we're going to chill and just rebuild this year and take it easy.
Yeah.
Your work's on film every year, man. Your work's on film. You're only as good as what you do that week. So I don't think any player out there worth his salt is going to sit and go, let's relax next year and just, let's just relax. Nobody does that. You want to win.
Yeah.
You think the LA Rams, this was supposed to be a rebuilding year for
100%.
LA. You think they went into this season saying, let's just relax? They found their way to the playoffs, man.
Yep.
There's no relaxing. There's no rebuilding. Now, you could take other routes and say, we're going to do a different monetary. We're not going to put as much money in this year as we would others, but it doesn't mean you're going to not compete.
Right. And one of the big reasons for that, especially with the Rams, and I love that comparison, is Sean McVay, a great coach, a big-time competitor, and that's exactly what the Broncos have with Sean Payton. How would you evaluate his first full season and full year in Denver?
You know, he said he came here to win. He said he came here to make the playoffs. They fell short there. The season came down to that Patriots game, and it's a game that I think he's going to lose sleep over for the rest of the offseason. You win that Patriots game, we might be talking a different tune right now. We may be looking at the entire season differently. Hell, we may still be talking about Russell Wilson being the Denver Broncos quarterback if you can beat the Patriots. Once they lost that game to Bailey zapping a bunch of dudes, once they lost that game, everything changed. And it felt like a different season. Don't you guys agree?
Absolutely. 100%. In a game that you had no business losing.
No, man. You had the game won.
Yeah.
You had the game won. You win that game. You take care of business, and now your fate is in your own hands. You finish with a winning record. It's amazing how one game difference, 8-9 versus 9-8, changes the complexion and the tone of an entire season. And you can say we had a winning season, man. We won more than we lost. Can't say that now.
And if they win the Patriots game and then the Raider game after, they would have had the tiebreaker over the Steelers and would have gotten the 7 seed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
They could still be playing in theory.
Can't lose.
Okay.
That's theory for sure.
The fact that I just brought that up is ticking me off. You can't lose to the Patriots at home.
Yeah.
You can't lose to the Patriots. Not that Patriots team.
No.
You can't lose that Raider team 8 times in a row.
No.
My goodness. What do you do as a team building approach moving forward for the Broncos to compete with now the reality of Patrick Mahomes for the next decade?
Well,
do you focus everything on the quarterback or do you build around him?
I don't know. It's hard to focus on the quarterback unless you know for sure you have the right one. And I don't know how you make sure you have the right one. So the San Francisco approach to things has been to build the skeleton, right? Build the skeleton, make sure everybody's secure in each spot of the team. And then if you get a quarterback that can handle it, you bring him in. I mean, throwing all your money at one quarterback every other year and saying, this is the guy, you just don't know who the guy is. And I don't know how you I don't know how you figure that out, man. Anybody who can experiment and roll the dice on who the perfect quarterback is, more power to you. Remember, Patrick Mahomes is not a top 10 quarterback. He was not drafted in the top 10. And they're calling him one of the greatest of all time. So you mean to tell me there are 10 teams that year that screwed up? Everybody messed up?
Yep.
I mean, how do you pinpoint a great quarterback? You know, John Elway, when he played at Stanford, he was destined to be the #1 overall pick. Do you know that John Elway never went to a bowl game?
That is
crazy.
They never played in a bowl game at Stanford. So you got a team that was middling at best and average, and you're going to say, that guy's the #1 overall pick. Well, it worked.
Right.
But how many quarterbacks out there play for crap college teams that can be the next Mahomes? I have no idea how to figure that out.
It's a great point, and you just look at Lamar Jackson, a guy that was in the AFC Conference Championship game, who was the 32nd pick, the 5th quarterback taken in that draft? So it's not just getting that #1 guy. You're 100% right.
Totally agree with you, man.
Man, this has been awesome to have you. You're wearing Nuggets gear.
I am.
I just asked Field Yates this. Which team in Denver, you can include the Broncos if you want, but you're not going to, and I understand. Which team has the best chance at winning a championship next?
Winning the next championship. I would put the Avs and Nuggets tied. I would say they have the best chance together because this year the Western Conference is just much tougher for the Nuggets. It's just a tougher swim. At this point last year, the Nuggets had a 2-game lead over Memphis, #1 seed, and everybody else was back down. This year, there are 4 teams near the top that are really good, so it's tougher for the Nuggets. The Avs are right there. They can do it too. I'd say those 2 teams, obviously. The Broncos have some work to do. They clearly have some work to do. But I got to share a story because Todd reminded me of the story. Years ago, when we used to do the Bronco preseason games at Channel 4, we were the Broncos station. We're in Arizona, and there was a player for the team, a linebacker. I'm not going to name him. I would never. and it was a preseason game, and it was chill, man. We were in Arizona, and it was hot, and nobody was playing. I think it was a 4th game. None of the starters were playing. And this dude, he's got me in the back, and I'm doing sidelines, and there's a couple girls in the front row that are yelling at this linebacker saying, I want his number, blah, blah, blah. And he's got me exchanging numbers with these girls. I'm playing pimp in Arizona as a sideline reporter. It was some of the funniest things. We were laughing the entire time. And if you're wondering what happens in the 4th preseason game, there's no longer 4.
Yeah.
That's what happened in the 4th preseason game.
I can say it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. I will never name who it is. It wasn't you.
I mean, to take it even one more step, in a preseason game, we saw a player get engaged on the sideline.
Thank
was
God
crazy.
they cut it to 3 games, man. Thank God.
Oh, thank good. I totally agree.
I don't know. I like that 4th game. Because you get to go, you get to hang out, you get to eat good food.
Yeah.
Like you eat heavy food, especially in Arizona. We always go to Lolo's, which is like a chicken and waffle spot, and it's basically like a little relaxation before the season starts.
What did you guys get paid for preseason games?
Nothing.
Like virtually nothing, or did you get a stipend of some sort?
I think we got like $2,500 a week for the entire.
So that's basically
camp.
free. That's free. That's just practice, and then the regular season is when you ramp up your salary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you're just holding on until the first game.
Yeah, welcome to the media. That's how we operate. This is free this week.
They're giving chicken wings out. That's what we do. Vic, one of my, you're a Colorado legend. One of my idols growing up, listening to you on the radio every single day. And one of the things when I look back and remember sports radio moments, it was Todd was on the team. And you said this. You said, my loins are predicting a Denver Broncos 24-21 win over the Chiefs.
Oh, I remember
and that exactly happened.
I remember that. And my loins, they're conveniently in a spot that allow me. They come through and they haven't thought for me much lately. But I do remember making those kind of drastic picks. And these days, there's no way you can pick a Broncos game. It's almost impossible, right? But back when you guys were balling, it was a different story back then. I could just tell, right? You could tell in the demeanor of the team and the way they practiced that week and who the opponent is. It's just a different time now. I was born and raised, no Bronco team of my generation, of my era, I never went through an 8-year window like we're in right now. An 8-year. This is the first time. There are 9-year-old kids out there that have never seen a playoff game, that have no idea. I never lived that. Born and raised in Denver, Colorado, every 3 or 4 years, the Broncos are either winning a playoff game, they're deep into the playoffs, or they're in the Super Bowl. Yeah. So this is the first of its kind in my lifetime.
Yeah. Is my last one for you, is Sean Payton the right guy to change that?
I think he's the right guy to give the right winning mentality. Whether or not he can change it remains to be seen. I don't know. I don't know if he's the right guy. Talk to me in 3 years. I think he's shown some improvement. I think he's brought, after what they went through the year before, it's like night and day. The substitute teacher's out of there. Yeah. Now they got the real strict teacher that's in there that's giving you demerits and stuff. It may be somewhere in between on how you do it, but he's brought a much more strict, disciplined approach to football. I think they need to do. Yes.
Yep. And, man, this has been awesome to have you on, Vic.
Well,
Thank you so much
for
your insight. Really
Boys,
appreciate you
Boys,
joining
good
us.
job, man. Good job. Great job with all your work all week over here. You guys got like 17 cameras. All right, take care.
That is the great Vic Lombardi. And this has been the great DNVR Broncos podcast.
Solid. I'm curious to see what those videos look like.
Solid. Okay.
Videos are kind of determining things.
What videos?
Then we played some videos. I didn't see them. I was there, I know, but I haven't seen how the aesthetic.
You forget what happened last night?
I didn't see it through RG's lens. I'm not sure if the colors popped. I'm not sure how the focus was.
I hope all of you enjoyed this. Hit us with a thumbs up on your way out. It doesn't just help us. It helps everyone here. Like Vic said, we've got such a big crew here, 27 people here. That thumbs up helps us a ton. Thank you so much. Do we have any super chats you hear? Okay, no super chats, so we will be back tomorrow at noon Denver time with another fully loaded lineup. Thank you so much to Andrew, to Field, to Vic, to Henry, to Todd, to Yahir, to RG, to Alyssa, to the entire crew here. Thank you all for everything. We'll be back tomorrow, noon Denver time. See ya.
We all silly like the mayor.